I spend most of my time on Twitter these days. I believe this whole year, 75% of my time was spent there trying to network. I've had my own personal Twitter account since May of 2009, but that all changed this year when I stopped hanging in my own personal Twitter account and made an account for the podcast in late January. I started following everyone I knew from the old account as well as wrestling fans and the comic book fans because that was my niche. 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 However you say it. I don't know how to
Niche.
fucking say it. Niche? Niche? My niche?
Niche.
My niche.
I'm not French or anything, but when you go to law school, you just got to know these things.
My niche. My niche. I feel like I'm talking like Eric from Boy Meets World. Where's my niche? Is that my niche? No, niche. Okay. Whatever. Moving on. Later on, I would follow podcasts because I wanted to hear how they sound. I heard their first episode and then their last episode. How they introduced the show and how they ended it. I was impressed with how far they've come. I would follow these distribution accounts and they would always have a question like, how's the vibe today? What are you doing this week? Share your newest episode. I would always interact with them, of course, but the one thing that stopped me is the question. Why did you start your podcast? So let me answer that question on the show. We're going to do it here. We're gonna answer that one here. Late in 2021, I wasn't feeling it. I had a bad year. I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I needed to change my lifestyle for the better. It wasn't working. New kung fu pandemonium outbreaks here and there. I was feeling depressed, and I needed a new medium other than what I was doing. And just like Shawn Michaels, I lost my smile. And so I had to go away to find it again. In doing so, I decided maybe I should start a podcast. I was a co-host of one in 2017 with my friend Eric. It was called Drink It Up. We only lasted about 11 or so episodes. I wasn't on the driver's seat, but knowing what he was doing took a lot of his time. I figured it wasn't for me. Well, yeah, okay. Well, 5 years later, I decided to do that, start my own podcast, my own opinions. I just wanted to share my voice and what I thought about wrestling. I had ideas, just random stuff I would talk about, and they would only take about a few minutes. The first episode aired January 2nd. It was episode 1 and what I wanted to discuss. That episode is still being downloaded and listened to. Thanks to all 100 people that have and are still listening to that episode, by the way. You guys are awesome. I don't know why, but all right. The show wasn't called From Under the Apron. It was called All Things Wrestling at first. Remember that? Not knowing there were about 300 sites or podcasts called exactly that. Hey, welcome to All Things Wrestling. We're All Things Wrestling. Yeah. My bad. I should have just done my research. My co-host, Michael, came on board on the third episode. I needed him. I was fumbling and thought I was talking to myself most of the time and nobody was listening. I actually wanted to get him on the Drink It Up podcast also, but that show ended early. Cringe, too. We made magic. We posted episodes twice a week. I wasn't doing much. I wanted to be consistent. So some of them were twice a week. We had those weeks off, but we eventually came up with a schedule. I told you I needed him. By April, after searching for a new name and finally coming up with a logo, we went with From Under the Apron. Hey, Michael, what was the reason for that again? Something about Hornswoggle?
So it definitely was because we wanted to reintroduce Hornswoggle, but it was also because copyright. Once I started getting into law school, I realized we don't want to become successful and then give all our money to somebody else.
I thought it was something about Hornswoggle living. Okay, sure.
Well, it absolutely was. It was at first. It was for the love, and then we also had to make an executive decision. So,
am I the only podcast with a lawyer as a co-host? Awesome. Wise man, thank you for your input. Episode 22, we changed everything about the show. We went from a wrestling podcast with nothing to offer to let's tell stories from the past for one episode and what's been going on in the news and in the WWE and AEW that week in another episode. we did it. We did some top 10s, controversial as it was. Was it controversial? Sorry. We brought in
bottom 10s. We don't know.
we brought in a third guest. Shout out to Kashina Booker, who I still hope is listening. Hey, you changed the game. We joined the Nerdvana Network. Link in the show notes. And I added one more element that was missing, and that was shows and movies. So we started with Young Rock as a feeler. See how it would do if I start talking about shows with wrestlers in them. Episode 30 got us about 15 downloads in just 1 week. Yeah, that was a...
And we're grateful for all our listeners. We love you all. You're our best friends.
I say we did a pretty good job at that one. There's 15 downloads. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that one. Remembering the VH1 documentary series called Behind the Music, where the narrator would talk about the musician being documented and how they were at an all-time high. And once that ended, he would change his tone to say these words. And then the unthinkable happened. Well, here's our and then. In June, our friend Queen Booker, Queen Kashina Booker, had to leave us to do a family project of her own. Michael had to disappear for a little while and take care of family business as well as his own. And I wasn't doing so good, so I decided to take a break. We all needed to take a break. I took a 2-month break, reassessed, and came back refreshed. But all bad things turn around and become good again. I messaged a few friends, asked if they wanted to come on the podcast because that's what I wanted to do from the start. I wanted to interview friends who got introduced to wrestling and wanted to know what their first wrestling memory was. I also wanted to include my fight with diabetes as a segment, and so I did with a 2-part series. Part 3 will come along soon. Don't know when, but when I feel like talking about it again. And however, yeah, you get the deal, right? Okay, back to Twitter. During my absence, I networked my ass off and started listening to podcasts again. I needed that refresh. I was editing my own voice, and I would get tired of that. That shit made me fall asleep. Weird sometimes. But if I hadn't come back to Twitter to network again, I wouldn't have gotten to know these awesome indie podcast creators who are supportive. And yes, big time bestie, AB, Mama Murder Podcast, Bring Your Own Popcorn, The Moz Pod, Opinionated Luscious, Drunk with Buds, I Hate It, Let's Watch It, Attitude Era Wrestling Review Podcast, and of course our network colleagues from the Masterpiece Shitbeast Theater.
We love those guys.
Love those guys. There's more that I've interacted with, so don't think I forgot about them. I have an inner circle of my own. So now, here we are. 1 year later, I have my own schedule with my own podcast support team, podcast friends, a network of them, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And 3K downloads. 3,000 downloads.
Which I'm grateful for. Even if one other person wanted to hear what I had to say, I'd be grateful. So I'm grateful for each and every single one.
That's the biggest news coming today. I've since joined a lot of distribution sites. Merry Christmas. Yep. I've since joined a lot of distribution sites. You can find us on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. I never thought I would say this ever in my life, but we got our own merch. Right?
We do, yeah.
We do.
We sure do.
Link in the show notes. We have supporters backing our podcast. We appreciate them. Thank you. And to go back on that question, why did I start the podcast? Because I had mental health issues and I wanted to do something that would take up my time. It is believed that people with depression usually watch a show that they've seen because they have full control of what happens. Mm-hmm. They know what's going to happen. I started a podcast because I wanted to be in control of it. I wanted to put out into the world what I had in my head. And as I told you before, I had a lot on my mind and it was all jumbled up that I had to write down my ideas or else this podcast would have gone sideways and just been a rambled mess. Case in point, episode 1. If you would have told me in January that I still would have been doing this for a year, I wouldn't have believed you. We passed the expiration date on the episodes. People usually give up on our podcast. I think it's 11 or 13 or 14.
What episodes?
That people give up on
Oh,
their
wow.
podcast.
Well, yeah, we've definitely surpassed that.
We surpassed that.
Yeah.
So, let's have a toast.
All right.
All right. Here's white peach.
Okay, I've got the pineapple coconut. I've got the OG. I don't have the Black Adam.
Right. So here's to everyone that has ever reached past 11 episodes. Here's to 80 more episodes.
But now, can I give a shout out?
By all means, go ahead.
All right. So look, we're in that Christmas season where everybody has to be thankful. We've all got something to be thankful for. If you can hear my voice, you have something to be thankful for. So take a moment, and whatever it is, you don't have to say it out loud, but just say it in your head what you have to be thankful for. One thing I have to be thankful for is I am getting back on my fitness journey. I love to be in shape. I've taken a lot of time away from it, and so now I'm back on it. And I definitely take a lot of inspiration from wrestlers and MMA fighters and things like that. And I have to give a shout out to Conor McGregor. We are going to do the proper 12 days of Christmas. And so I have me some proper 12, and I'm about to take me a shot of proper 12. And that is what I'm thankful for. Thank you to all our listeners. Thank you to Conor McGregor. Thank you to proper 12. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Here's to more episodes. Here's another year full of wonderful episodes from us.
Yep.
And here's to 3K more downloads by the end of the next year.
And let me just say something here. You have a lot of established podcasts, and it's easy to go with the established, right?
Right.
We're the newcomers in the game. We're the young kids in the game, but we're here to take over. Just like you have a lot of whiskeys, you have Jameson. They've been there for a long time. And now you have a new kid on the block, Proper 12. And just like Proper 12 has taken over the whiskey game, Under the Apron has taken over the podcast wrestling game. And before you know it, we're going to be 100 million strong. And we owe it to each and every one of you listeners out there. So keep listening. Keep listening and keep loving us. And as long as you keep loving us, we're going to keep loving you. And that's how it is.
New world
and
order.
Let me do the let me read it today because I'm especially feeling today like an everyday warrior. Zoa is about healthy, positive energy.
New world order
that helps us all focus, be productive, and get stronger together. Mana, gratitude, Zoa, and much love to the newest Irish whiskey on the block, Proper 12.
Proper 12. Hey, you're here. So let's open up that can of Zoa. Opinionated, luscious, drunk with buds. Take a drink for us. And here's to more wonderful times like these. Here, guys. Here we go. Hey, hopefully you guys are listening to this part. All right. There you go. Start our intro music. Welcome back, you beautiful podcast geeks. Jeez, man. If you're still with us after having to go through that 15-minute or so monologue of sharing our feelings out into the world, thank you for doing so. We are your hosts. I'm Ernie. And with me is the guy that I have to take home because I'm the designated driver. Which means one of us has to drink. You drink? Yeah, he's already there.
I'll take on this responsibility for that.
It's in our contracts. He signed it.
It is.
It's the reason. It is partly the reason why he's going to law school, to try to find a loophole
to get out of it.
Exactly, to get a loophole to get out of it. Michael, welcome back and happy anniversary, brother.
Hey, what's up, man?
Happy podversary.
Happy everything. Happy Christmas,
happy everything.
Holidays. Happy happy all of it.
Happy New Year.
Happy all of it.
Happy New Year. Today, as said at the top of the show, is a very special episode. Not only is it our 1 year podversary, but I finally sat down to watch a movie that's been a cult classic for nearly 3 decades. Jeez.
I used to rent that movie from Albertsons. If anybody is from the West Coast, you know what Albertsons is.
I wasn't interested at the time. Okay. The only movie I've ever watched before in the 80s that had to do with Hulk Hogan, Rocky 3.
Oh, okay, that's true. And that's funny. I'm sure I didn't see that in the 80s. I saw that I saw Rocky 3 probably after I saw Rocky 5. So
hey, I was a big fan of The Rock.
Hey,
still am. Yeah. It's but this movie right here we're going to talk about is one of those movies that people will say, don't call yourself a wrestling fan if you've never watched this movie. Mm-hmm. I'm a wrestling fan. If I didn't watch it, it wasn't my fault. It was my upbringing. I blame my upbringing.
Sure.
Oh God. Okay, fine. Well, I finally did.
Sure.
Am I the ultimate wrestling fan now?
Okay, if you thought now, we'll retroactively we'll bring in.
I'm glad nobody cut my card. So not only is this a very special 1 year episode, this is a very special Backdrops in Backlots episode. Mm-hmm. We are taking the cinematic universe time machine and going back to 1989 to watch No Holds Barred.
Yeah,
you gotta say it. You gotta say it like that. There's no other way to say it.
If you say it any other way, it's not legit.
Okay, so Michael, you've seen this movie before.
Oh, I've seen it.
Like before me.
I'm pretty sure I have it on VHS somewhere in my mom's basement, honestly. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure I have it on VHS somewhere.
So what do you like about this movie, and what made you even watch this movie to begin with?
Well, so I mean, we're talking about way back then. What made me watch it? It's had Hulk Hogan top billing. I mean, there was back before 92, there was no reason. If it said, I don't know, knitting with Hulk Hogan, you would have watched it if you were alive at that time. It's honest. Come on, be honest. If you were under the age of 12 before the year of 1992, anything with the name Hulk Hogan, you would have participated. But it was also an awesome movie. Now, if you watch it today and if you're over the age of whatever, 15, 20, I know you guys are the YouTube, whatever generation, but if you would have watched that back then when, we didn't know the real names of wrestlers, we didn't know the real names of whatever, the movie was awesome, man. I mean, is it goofy? Yes. Like, I look at it now and I'm like, oh my God, why did I even like this movie? But if you put yourself in that mindset of back then when you believe that a correctional officer would be a wrestler and a repo man would be a wrestler and an ex-convict, the cops are like, oh, there he is, but let's not take him into custody. If you can put yourself in that mindset, the movie is awesome. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. I had to watch this movie twice. And
you had to. I watched it 20 times, and I'll watch it again.
Fine, go for it. I
love it.
I went twice. One for my first reaction, and two to go through it because I looked up. I looked up interesting facts about the movie.
Okay.
So, Noah's Bard, starring Hulk Hogan as Rip Thomas, Tiny Lister, who you all know as
Zeus
from Friday.
Oh, there you go.
Debo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Debo. Okay.
Debo from Friday as Zeus.
Yeah.
Colt Fuller, he's from Wayne's World, if y'all know him. He's from there. He stars as Brel, and then some other people. Joan Severance as Samantha Moore. Bill Eadie.
Anyway, go ahead.
Bill Eadie, Smash from Demolition.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Bullitt.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this at the time until somebody told me about it. Stan Hansen is nasty looking redneck at bar.
Yeah, he was the guy, the main guy in the bar with the sister.
Neanderthal looking.
With the tiny wangers.
He credited as Neanderthal.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Gene Okerlund, Mean Gene Okerlund and Jesse Ventura are the commentators.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, yeah.
And then you have Mark Pellegrino as Randy Thomas, Hulk Hogan, Rip's brother.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's brother. Directed by Thomas J. Wright, who also went on to direct X-Files, Firefly, CSI, NCIS, Bones, as well as Smallville, One Tree Hill.
Wait, you mean Bones with Bones the show with what's his name? Are you talking about
Bones? Yeah, Bones.
Oh wow, well, so
Brennan and Bones.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off on a tangent for 20 seconds. Give me 20 seconds. So when me and my wife lived in Sacramento, California,
yeah,
that was back, and we're talking about 2010. 2000, yeah. When they were changing over to where you either had cable or you had a satellite. Correct. Otherwise, you wouldn't get TV. And we didn't have cable at the time, so we had a satellite. The only channel that would work was Fox 40.
Oh my!
And so every night we would watch Bones. Well, so fast forward 2012, we thought we were having a boy. Our second child, we thought we were having a boy.
Oh, okay.
So hold on.
All right, I see.
We were having a boy.
I see where this is going.
And so we were trying to come up with names. I don't know, John, fucking Fred, whatever the fuck, just boys' names. Jeff, fucking Thomas. And everyone would say, "Oh, girl, that baby is riding low. That's a boy." Everybody would tell us that. Okay, cool, we're having a boy. I bought a gift set that said "I'm a future Raven" with a bib and a whatever. Well, long story short, like 1 week before we were having the baby, they told us, "Yeah, you're not having a boy. You're having a girl." I said, "Oh shit." Well, again, long story short, we had to come up with a girl's name, and so we named our daughter Temperance because of the show Bones, which, if anybody knows, the main doctor on there that he called her Bones, her name was Temperance Brennan. So
yeah,
there you go. Long story long. Sorry, everybody.
It's fine. A beautiful story, beautiful story. Seriously. This episode of Under the Apron is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard yet, Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with all the tools you need, all in one place. Just type in anchor.fm on your browser and start creating that podcast that you've been talking about starting all year long. Take advantage of Anchor's creation tools. You can record, edit, add music, or any type of audio you like right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast on many different listening platforms, such as Spotify, Apple, Google, or even Stitcher. And that's just to name a few. It's everything you need to make a podcast. And want to know what's the best part about it? Absolutely, totally free. Join us and download the Anchor app on your phone or go to anchor.fm on your browser to get started right away. Link will be in the show notes.
Movies and feelings. Pop, pop. Bring Your Own Popcorn is a podcast that dives into people and the movies who love them. Let us preach to your choir or stoke your ire as we spiral down memory lane with cult classics, Jurassics, and other genres that rhyme with traffic. What we lack in education, we make up for with comedy, compassion, and camaraderie. I'm your host, Mixtape Majesty, inviting you to join me and an assortment of wonderful guests on fine podcast apps everywhere. Bring your own popcorn.
Welcome back, podcasting geeks. Don't worry, the show's almost halfway over. Just sit back, relax, and light up a candle from Dark Fate Creations and just... Huh? Wait, what? You don't have a Dark Fate Creations candle? What do you mean you don't? I've only mentioned it for about 20 episodes. Alright, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to darkfatecreations.com. All one word. Fine, I'll have the link in the show notes. And you're gonna buy yourself a unique Cottonwick candle. Just go check it out for yourself. I'll wait. And while I'm waiting and you're clicking on the site and browsing, pick up the vibrant, colorful Marble Tops mouth freaking watering fragrances. It makes me want to do that rock sniff that he does all the time. They're fueled by lovely braided cotton wicks. They are paper threads woven into every cotton wick for a clean, romantic, slow, and consistent burn. Are you deciding? Each candle is unique from the next because they are hand mixed and hand poured in good old Grass Valley, California. They use only coconut and soy wax for a safer, cleaner, and almost 72 hours burn time. That's like 3 days worth of binge time on whatever podcast you're listening to or TV show you're watching. And not only do they care about the look, but also the quality and fragrance of the candles and the effects it has in your homes. So check them out. Buy a few this holiday season. Buy them for birthdays. Buy them for wedding gifts. Or just buy them for yourself. You deserve that. But let me know which one you picked up. Once again, that's darkfatecreations.com. Link will be in the show notes. Executive producers are Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan. It's a WWE film and released by New Line Cinema on June 2nd, 1989. The film was released on VHS, Betamax, and Laserdisc in October of 1999. It was also released on DVD with a digitally remastered transfer by WWE Home Video under the WWE Studios banner on July 3rd, 2012. A Blu-ray disc release followed in April 2014.
Okay. Now let me ask you, and I'm hey everybody, I'm the Alzheimer's guy here. Wasn't it like last year that they did their 30 year? What was it? I know you said when it came out. When did it come out?
1989.
So what would 30 years be?
2019.
Yes, that was a while ago. Oh, I'm only saying that because like now I was gonna watch it the other day on fucking Amazon, and now it says it's not available anymore. So I'm wondering, are they coming out with a special something or other? Like usually when they do that, well, I'm saying usually when they do like when it's not available, it's because they want you to buy something.
Right.
Because I was gonna watch it. Like I said, I've seen it. I don't know how many. I couldn't even count to you how many times I've seen it, but just the fact that I was gonna go look for it. I would last year I would look for it online. It's like I don't want to watch that. I've already seen it 40 times. And then the other day I'm like, I want to watch it again. It's like, oh shit, it's not available. So there must be something going on. Because usually the only time they do that where it's not available is because they want you to buy it.
That's true.
In some form.
Mm-hmm. All right. Rip Thomas is the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, and his appearance on network television has been a thorn in the side of Mr. Brell, the head of the struggling World Television Network. Rip is a huge ratings draw, while WTN is the lowest rated television network. Reminds you of anything at all?
Oh, no, not at all. No. What a shock here. What is this? I'm surprised by this.
Yeah. It's almost as if
it's
Vince McMahon. It's almost as if Vince McMahon had control of this movie. And
no way, no,
you don't think so? Okay.
Don't be pessimistic here.
I
mean, realistic? No, I mean pessimistic. Whatever. Anyway.
Oh, sure. Why not? The movie opens up on Rip getting into the ring to face Jake Bullet, which is played by Bill Eadie, later on Axe from Demolition.
Our good buddy.
Yeah. While this is going on, Mr. Brell and his team of old people are in a conference room in their office watching this match, hating on it. Back in the ring, looks like the match ended up being about 5 or 10 minutes long, and they were trying to take away from the fact that Hulk Hogan and Rip Thomas were two completely different people. Hogan's finisher is a leg drop. Rip's finisher is a running double sledgehammer.
Yeah.
The one Hogan used during his matches in Japan,
right,
where it is known as the Axe Bomber.
You're giving away too many secrets, buddy.
In the Japanese Fire Pro series of wrestling games, many real wrestlers from different promotions are featured using fake names, and Hulk Hogan is known in that series as Axe Duggan, sharing a last name and a tool nickname with another WWF wrestler, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah.
Back at the office, Mr. Brell is having a fit that he can't get his ratings up because his competition has Wrestling and Rip Thomas. Huh. Little okay.
Well,
little
yeah, but anyway.
Insecure there, buddy. Okay. He asked his team he wants that jock ass on his network.
Oh.
He orders a boardroom meeting the next day at 10 a.m. The word jock ass.
I love that. Nowadays, no, but back then it was like, oh, that's clever.
That's a clever
back then it was clever.
Back then it was a clever insult. I'm bringing it back. I'm gonna start calling everybody.
I am. I'm gonna do
that. Back in the ring, Rip Thomas is celebrating his win with the fans and his brother Randy and his trainer Charlie, who is played by Bill Anderson, and is holding the WWE Championship belt.
If I can, everybody who this matters to, it's only because they can afford Louis Gossett Jr. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Wow. Wow.
Sorry. I'm just an old guy trying to put my 2 cents in. Sorry, guys.
Oh my God, Louis Gossett Jr. Legendary.
Absolutely.
All right. Couldn't afford him, huh? The next day, Mr. Brell is yelling at his team or board of directors to come up with a solution to either get the ratings up or get Rip Thomas on the team. He asked for one of the board members, who he says she survived this little purge, so restore his faith in her. She stands up and begins to speak, but he tells her to take a leak. And next, did she say take a leak or take a? I don't know.
That's
really?
What it sounded like to me.
Take a leak.
If anybody knows better than us, let us know.
What the hell does that even mean?
We're not
like. Was this like figuratively, or was that like get the?
No, I'm pretty sure. It was figuratively. Yeah, go to the restroom, get the hell out of here, whatever. But we're from the unwoke generation, so if anybody knows what else it can mean, let us know.
Okay. Basically, she grabs her belongings and leaves. I don't think she's coming back.
No.
He asks Ordway what he thinks was played by Charles Levin. He stands up and offers up another game show. Mr. Brell stops him from talking and shows him a poster of Rip saying that this sells. This is what he wants on his network. So someone go get this for him.
Yeah.
He seems like an entitled prick.
Oh, absolutely. A little sniveling, yeah. 120-pound prick who thinks he okay. You know what he is. But this was the 80s now. He was a little fucking 120-pound suit. He was a genius, but he was a weak little, what they say, the 60-pound weakling, whatever it was with the comic book. I forgot what it was. Where they got the strong guy kicked the sand in the face of the guy. You know what I'm talking
about. Okay. Next scene. Rip shows up at the TV network.
Yeah.
What a basic name.
Oh, when
for
he
a
sat
network.
in this. Yeah, no, they could have done better. Rip Thomas. Okay, cool. Yeah.
The network, the TV network. Okay,
Right.
the TBN, or is that what it's?
Whatever. It was what it
TTN.
was.
I'm
Yeah,
sure TNT was
yeah.
already. Wait, what
I
year
think that
was
was taken. Yeah, they couldn't. It's just a strange coincidence. It really is.
Right. Coincidence is all over. Rip walks into the office and Brell introduces himself to him, softens him up, has him sit down in a chair once owned by King Louis.
Yeah.
Claims that it cost him a fortune.
Sure it did, yeah. So we had a 300-pound guy sitting there.
He gets right to the point and asks Rip to come and work for him on his network and is willing to pay him whatever it takes.
I'm not gonna lie. If somebody give me a blank check, you're in trouble, dude. You give me a blank check, that shit's gonna. It's not gonna clear, but we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, that turned into a movie.
Definitely not. Okay.
That's actually a movie.
Oh, is it?
It's called Blank Check.
Oh, Blank Check, way back, the baseball movie, right? Wasn't it a baseball movie? Blank Check, the baseball movie. Is that what you're talking about?
You still there?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, somebody called. I don't think
it was talking about Blank Check, the baseball movie.
I don't think it was a baseball.
Or was it the kid that bought a fucking monkey or whatever?
There it is. That's the one.
Okay. With the kid, he looked like the kid from fucking Jerry Maguire.
Blank Check.
Dunston checks.
Dunston checks in with the monkey.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I know what you're talking about though, with the blank check though. Yeah.
Blank Check, starring Brian Bonsall, Karen Duffy, Miguel Ferrer, James LeBon, Tone Loc.
Oh shit. Okay.
Jade Atkinson, Michael Lerner.
Whether I see
like the only person I know in this movie is Tone Loc.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
He's like big time rapper of the 90s. Wild Sang.
Was that the kid with the dark hair? No, now I'm thinking of what's that fucker that he broke his arm and he became a great pitcher. Was that not League of Their Own? Fucking you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's not League of Their Own.
It's not a League of Their Own.
The asshole that he broke his arm and then he could throw 100-mile pitch.
Dude from American Pie.
Dunston checks. I don't know what the fuck. Oh, was he American? See, I don't even know.
Yeah, he was.
What's the original thing we're talking about? A blank check. Okay, that's what I'm trying to look up now. Don't confuse me. I'm very simple. Don't confuse me.
Thomas Ian Nicholas.
Is that from Blank Check?
No, the dude that broke his arm. Rookie of the Year.
Oh, Rookie of the Year. Okay, that's the asshole that broke his arm and now he could throw 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's also the kid in King Arthur's Court.
Don't confuse me. I'm trying to stay on track here. Okay, Blank Check is some dickhead with sunglasses and a backpack. Okay, cool.
Oh my god.
Because in the 1990s, if you want to be cool, you had to be a dickhead with sunglasses and a backpack. Film Fellow was a dickhead. That's just about
the cover of every other movie.
Who inherits a blank check and uses it to buy a house under an alter. Yeah, it's some dickhead. Okay. I don't know. What were we originally talking about? Let's not get too lost in the sauce here. Because Wikipedia has taken too much time.
So back to the movie.
Okay, go back to the movie.
Rip tells him he's not interested.
Okay, there you go.
Brell doesn't take no for an answer. So he gives Rip a blank check. Still not interested. Rip walks up and tries to leave, but Brell stops him to force him to agree to work for him on his network. Again, Brell calls him a jackass.
Which I like. I do like that.
And he can't believe Rip thinks this money is not good enough. We need a jackass audio in here. And I'm going to use that from now on.
I'll be honest. Can I be honest, everybody? If any of our listeners out there are super rich, and if you present me a blank check, I will write a number and I will try to cash it. And I don't think I'm better than you. I promise you. Until the check clears. And then when I have more money than you, then I think I'm better than you. But until then, I will take the check. So, I mean, if anybody's like, I don't believe you, well, then let's challenge it. Well, let's see what happens.
We need that on the shirt. Can I be honest?
Yeah, please.
That's our next. We're gonna put that on our merch and sell it. Can I be honest?
Yeah, there you go. That's ours. Trademark it. I'm gonna get right on it. I'll talk to somebody in my law school. There's gotta be somebody who's a trademark lawyer.
Wise man, you can do it. All right. Fuck, where are we?
I don't know.
Rip picks up the check and tells Brell he won't be around when the check clears as she shoves the check in Brell's mouth.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. Kurt Fuller, who plays Brell, was upset about this scene.
Oh.
He wasn't expecting a check to be stuffed in his mouth. He's gone on record to say that he wishes this movie didn't show up on his IMDb. He doesn't want anything to do with this movie. It's one of those things he's embarrassed about when fans come up to him and question him about this movie.
I don't know him from anything else but this.
Wayne's World. Same. No,
what character did he play in Wayne's World? Because I've seen Wayne's World a few times now. I don't remember. Was he like a agent?
No, he was working with Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe's character.
I know him. I remember him.
So it was Rob Lowe's character, and
yeah, he was the main manager or whatever.
And Kurt Fuller, who was his sidekick.
You're talking about the bald guy, right?
Russell. So it was Benjamin Cain and Russell Finley. And by the end of the movie, one of the guys from Wayne's entourage is telling him, "I love you, man." And Russell's all like, "Okay." And this dude keeps saying, like, "No, I love you, man." It's like, "All right. And I love you too." And then he once again says,
Wayne's World.
His name was Russell Finley.
Because I'm typing in Wayne's World bald guy in Google and it's not coming up.
He wasn't bald. God.
Was he fake bald and no holds barred?
Wayne's World Russell.
Okay. Because it's not coming up. So let me type it in again. Wayne's World Russell Finley. Did they put a wig on him in Wayne's World?
No.
I'm not finding him. I'm typing
Go to images. Go to images.
I am in images. I see the fucking T-100 cop. I see Al Bundy.
Al Bundy. That's not Al Bundy. That's him.
No, Al Bundy was in that movie.
He looks like Al Bundy.
No. Al Bundy. I will bet you money.
Oh,
Al Bundy was 100% in Wayne's World. He was the guy that said, "Pull out the beating heart."
Yes, I remember. Jeez,
I didn't find him.
Need to watch Wayne's World again.
Tell me the name again. Tell me the guy's name again.
Russell
Finley. Okay. I'm finding fucking what's his name? The guy, the cowbell guy. I'm not finding. I'm even finding the Over My Cold Dead Fingers guy.
All right, just type in Kurt Fuller then.
Kurt Fuller with a K?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm even finding what's the Over My Cold Dead Fingers guy called?
I don't know.
The not UFC, the fucking gun guy, NRA, whatever. Anyway. Okay. Kurt Fuller. Oh wow. Okay, I see him now. Nobody give a fuck about him in Wayne's World. With the fucking mint chocolate chip goddamn polo shirt. It went nobody. I didn't even know that was him. And he's saying he was embarrassed by being in No Holds Barred. Okay.
What's new, listeners? I'm Audra Howell, the host of 2 Cents Critic. Here on the program, we give reviews and recaps for books, movies, and TV shows, with a whole bunch of special guests who join in on the banter and breakdowns. Maybe you want to hear about a contemporary romance novel like The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. Or maybe you want to hear about an MCU show like She-Hulk. Or how about the best movie of 2022? Or at least that's my opinion. Everything everywhere all at once. You can hear all of these discussions and more on 2 Cents Critic.
Hi everyone, this is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening!
All right. Well, Conrad Thompson tried to book Fuller for one of his StarCast conventions. Fuller turned down the payday.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
don't remember me for the only movie that people remember me for now.
Hey, he got offended by that check in the freaking mouth, I guess.
Sure. Well, good for him. I'm glad that he... Yeah.
Okay. Rip leaves the office and gets in the limo while Brell gets on his phone and makes a few phone calls. The next scene, the limo driver decides to not take Rip to where he really wants to go and keep driving to meet up with other thugs and ambush Rip.
I love this scene.
I know you do.
This is the scene of the whole movie.
The best scene of the movie. I understand. I get it. I understand why. After kicking and hitting the car door from the inside, we make the limo driver swerve all over the road and hit a few cars and possibly people. Oh, God.
Yeah. Don't worry about that part.
I wonder if that really ever happens. Like this Rip's yeah. He finally makes it to his destination where the thugs have been waiting for him with chains. Rip shoots up from the limo to the sky like his name was R.E.Y. Mysterio. Here we go. The man has superpowers because he came down and took out about 4 guys with clotheslines, punches, and doesn't even sell when he gets kicked off the car. That didn't work for him, brother.
No, he took a page out of Bruiser Brody's book.
My God. He takes care of the 4.
Sorry.
Oh, goodness. He takes care of the 4 thugs and finally grabs the limo driver out. And he smells him and asks him, what the hell is that smell? You want to take this one? The limo driver says...
What was that smell? Was it Dookie?
Dookie?
No, of course not. You can't hate this. If you watch this movie and you don't like it, there's something wrong with you.
Like, that is a lot of intense acting there for just a small line.
That guy should have a fucking star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for that line.
The guy's name is Jeff McKnight, and he's credited as Dookie.
Look, if I ever, whatever happens, if I inherit something or other, if they ever give me the power over the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he's getting a star posthumously. I don't care if it's great granddaughter. He's getting a star. Anyway, go ahead.
Dookie. Oh my goodness.
His name too. It's not going to be under his real name. It's going to be under that name. You
Dookie.
will walk and you'll be like, oh, look at this. Oh, Vince McMahon. Oh, Pat Sajak. Dookie.
Dookie.
Look it up on my Google sunglasses.
Google sunglasses.
Google sunglasses.
Oh boy.
By that, you know what? By the time that they give me power over the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you'll probably have something Google in your scrotum. That's what you'll be looking them over on, and you will say, "Who is Dookie?" Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. I just had to pull my balls, and now whatever. Anyway. Okay.
One more time for the audience at home. What are you drinking again?
12.
What? We couldn't hear that.
12 proper 12 days of Christmas.
Proper 12. All right, cool. Moving on to the movie.
I want to make sure everybody knows Mike Ho's is the drunkard.
I guess he didn't call the police to press charges because Rip is at his HQ in a board meeting where he is introduced to Samantha Moore, played by Joan Severance.
And they for all you guys out there, yeah, for us youngins back then, yeah. If we would have had Google, oh yeah. But we didn't. So.
Yeah. They begin the meeting and she starts it off with his merchandise, but Rip isn't even paying attention. I wasn't even paying attention. Like I was still off on Dookie. Like what? What is? Okay. He's more paying attention to her, trying to eye her up and down. As she walks away, Rip follows her around the room, and at one point he is staring at his other female coworker who is sitting right next to him. Damn, man. This is why, me too. That's
when you're taking some of that exogenous testosterone, you just gotta let it out somewhere.
Fuck. She's putting in work, and he doesn't seem to care at all what's going on. He says he doesn't mean to be rude, right? But can they talk about it later? She says fine. She will pick him up at around 8 for dinner. Rip looks confused.
He's like, what? She actually bought that shit?
Okay.
That's how I would be now, too. If I was to just say something, she's like, hey, can I go? And I'd be like, oh shit. She actually buying my bullshit. Yeah, hell yeah.
Can we talk about it later? I'm just staring at you. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll pick you up at 8. It's like, what?
Why not?
They arrive at a restaurant. Expensive, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely expensive.
Maybe.
Exquisite, exclusive. Not for dummies, not for muscle-bound idiots, right?
Like Rip. No, sure. French,
yeah. So it's for little dickheads. Anyway, go ahead.
The host trying to be a snob and paying attention mostly to the lady.
Right.
Which, who's more bad here, Rip or this French snob host who's like, well,
yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Rip looks dressed for the occasion. Does he? Perhaps is the way he is oversized and he looks like
he is a 315-pound dude. He's 6'4", so I mean,
Or he could look like a jock ass.
Well, that too.
It's hard to believe that everyone in the establishment know who this man is, but not the host.
Yeah, only one asshole didn't know who he was.
I don't know who he is. Like, how does everybody know, but you don't?
Right.
The busboy recognizes Rip, waves at him, brings out the entire help to come and say hello to the king of wrestling. Everybody knows what wrestling is except for one guy.
Except one guy.
He's like, dude, you have Andre the Giant in France. How do you not know who the guy that picked up Andre?
That's true. By that point, he did. Yeah. So, but he's not supposed to be Hulk Hogan in the movie.
Yeah, he's not. He's supposed to be Rip Thomas, who picked up El Gigante. What was Andre the Giant's name in France? I think.
Oh, you're asking me on the spot. Honestly, I'd lose this one. I don't know.
My
I don't remember. Hey, I never claimed to be an expert. I'm just fun. Well, whatever. The asshole restaurant server didn't know.
He was known as Grenoble in the French Alps.
There you go.
So how do you not? It's like Andre Rosimov, Andre the Giant, Giant Ferrer. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Jean Ferrer. So if this is like an alternate timeline where Hulk Hogan is Rip Thomas, but still has the same gimmick, wouldn't Andre the Giant in France
have a similar gimmick? Yeah.
Have a similar gimmick, Jean Fer, and then Jean Fer at WrestleMania 3, or whatever they called it in this universe. It was Rip versus Jean Fer, and it was actually Jean Fer who picked up Rip.
Is it fair that you're asking a little bit too much for a WWF movie? How about that? How about that?
We're going off on something else here.
Not we, just you.
Okay.
I'm willing to suspend my disbelief. You apparently want to make this shit like, yeah. I mean, what are you? Are you a round earther? I'm a flat earther now because I'm just willing to go with it.
All right. The next scene, Brel and his two stooges.
Oh, two stooges.
Yeah, Mr.
Well,
Brel.
We won't get into that.
Stooges.
Not stooges. Not two
Vince.
dumbasses who.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
Hey, hide the ring, boys.
Oh my god. All right.
We won't.
Brel and his stooges visit a no count bar where they are watching a match going on between two headbangers. One of them is played by Michael Pigeon, otherwise known by his wrestling ring name Joss LeDuc. Backstory is that he's a lumberjack from Canada.
Oh, because
the
blue collar people were. Yeah.
The Stooges order something fancy at a redneck bar that has a makeshift octagon ring in the middle as entertainment. They have a table, and overhead of them is a midget in a cage hanging from the ceiling, throwing peanuts at them. Midget headbanger is played by Rick Allen, which many people have assumed is Peter Dinklage or Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I never actually thought about that. Was it him?
No, it was Rick Allen.
He was probably too young at that point.
I would say that
English guy. He probably would have been like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
10, whatever. Because, he's not more than 40 now, right?
Hey. Behind him, of course, is WWE Hall of Famer Stan Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
As he told me who he was. I've never seen him wrestle when he was younger, so
I didn't either. I didn't see him wrestle either.
I've seen him later on in the 90s and possibly 2000s.
Sure, yeah.
He is credited in the movie as Neanderthal, possibly because...
Wow, I never knew that.
Possibly because he's wasted of his mind, redneck, and chewing tobacco.
Kind of mess up because he's still alive. Like, are you gonna insult him while he's alive? Jeez.
Wow, Neanderthal.
Wait till he's dead.
Can't understand a word he says, but enough to know that he's explaining the rules to the match in the ring without a referee. There are no rules. Last one standing wins. Just don't kill anybody. Dems are the only rules, as he says.
As he puts his nose.
Oh, goodness, yeah. Brel loves this. He's in an element. No rules. Does whatever he wants. The waitress comes back with the beer, and Brel gives her money. But her brother can keep the change if he can get in the ring with the headbanger and win the match. Stan Hansen jumps up at the opportunity and dives right into the ring against the headbanger. The bathroom scene is gross. Just gonna say it like that. Why was there a dog there? And not out in front, being a guard dog. Instead,
part of the movie.
Let's put the dog in the bathroom and scare the piss out of everyone.
Yeah.
The Stooges badmouth the bar. This forces Neanderthal to come out of the bathroom and try to fight them. But he says they're not worth it due to the... Say it.
What, the tiny wangers?
Tiny wangers. I'm like, what? Like, what did you just say? Rewind it. Go back.
I love that part.
Teeny wangers.
Tiny wangers.
Tiny wangers. Oh my goodness! And then he does he looks closely too. It's like
and he grabs him by the neck.
Wait!
And then he goes and tells the sister. That's the funniest part.
I just saw two guys with two tiny wangers. He says, "You're not gonna believe this." They come to you and ask you for your number. Don't say no. They have teeny wingers. The next day, Brell holds a press conference and has come up with his own wrestling show called Battle of the Tough Guys.
Which, to be fair, that was UFC before UFC was UFC.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if UFC took inspiration from No Holds Barred.
Oh yeah,
the movie. It's like, hey, let's start our own little Battle of the Tough Guys.
Let's see, just fight however you want and see who wins. Yeah, absolutely. They copied.
The only way to win is to be the last man standing and win $100,000. It's absolutely the same thing.
Yeah.
You see a montage of people hearing the news and are interested, but only a few show up to actually fight. Real life, everybody from around the world showed up to fight in the UFC or Battle of the Tough Guys.
Yeah.
The match, due to the door being broken into and in walks 6'5". Battle of the Tough Guys match. I don't even know.
Well, we had a late entrance.
Late entrance. The match, due to the door being broken into, and in walks 6'5", 300 pounds, jacked monster with a patch of hair shaped like a Z on his head. He gets in the ring and then takes out everyone that came to fight, becoming the last man standing. This match is being televised, so back at Rip Thomas' home, his whole team is watching this match, especially the trainer who claims to know him as an ex-convict that goes by the name of Zeus. Like, oh, I knew him. He almost killed a bunch of people. Yeah, you're going to tell people now about this? Damn. The next day... Yeah, right. The next day, Brell comes in with the news that the Battle of the Tough Guys show was #1 show in the ratings. So great, dude. Battle of the Tough Guys, week 2, Zeus versus Lug Wrench. Zeus nearly kills Lug Wrench. He does his thing with his wrists hitting each other. He's a monster. The next scene, we see Samantha talking on her car phone with someone, very suspicious. How rich do you have to be to have a portable phone in the car? Like in the 80s?
Back then, yeah, absolutely. But 89. Now, can we go back for a second?
Yeah.
Rip's trainer. Who was that supposed to be?
I forgot the name already.
Let's be fair. No, not his name in the movie. Who was that supposed to be? Who was he a dollar store Wish version of? Apollo Creed's trainer, Duke.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it. So not only, okay, so everything from wrestling, but also copy.
Yeah, I mean, let's
Creed.
Be fair. We're going to be fair. Not Creed. We're from Rocky.
From Rocky. Apollo Creed's
the black. Yeah. Oh, the black trainer's like, hey, come on. That was Duke from Rocky. Absolutely. Yeah. Just like Louis Gossett, all that. They were doing their best with the budget they
had. The next scene, we see Samantha talking in her car phone with someone very suspicious. Plus, how rich do you have to be to have a portable phone in the car? She quickly hangs up the phone as she notices Rip getting close to the car. Rip introduces Samantha to his brother, Randy, a.k.a. not yet the devil from Supernatural. He's not there yet. He's there, but he's not there. Did we say the director of the show, of this movie, ended up being a Supernatural? Because now I see why he brought in almost everybody from this movie.
That's your fun fact. I don't know.
Randy from here, and then Kurt Fuller also.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah.
He went on to guest star on Supernatural as well. Yeah. So it's like, hey, you owe me, so come and do this show with us.
Hey, yeah, sorry guys. Due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to finish the episode. And I did mention in the show notes that it's a 2-parter. So join me in a few days. over the weekend, actually, where I will bring you the rest of the episode as part of our big Podversary week. Podcast anniversary. Whatever. You know what I mean. For now, though, check out the show notes for links to other podcast trailers that you heard on this episode. Send us a message of your favorite wrestling stories, questions, comments, ratings, or requests by email. It is FromUnderTheApron@gmail.com, and I will do my best to get to them and answer accordingly. Thank you for listening and being a huge part of this community. See you all soon. Dookie!